Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're new, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. Hit the like button, share the video, do what you got to do. It's all appreciated. I always start the videos by saying this, but I'm being sincere. It's really, really appreciated, all the support you can give us. Well, I wanted to do a little follow-up video because I did quite a lengthy sort of rambling video earlier today about the lengthy, I think it was over an hour long, about 65 minutes or so, 67 minutes, the interview between Kugan Cassius and Anthony Joshua. And there was an awful lot said during that 65 minutes. AJ seemed to sort of flit from subject to subject. He contradicted himself an awful lot. He said some things that were kind of eyebrow raising. His manner was quite eyebrow raising as well. He swore a lot and he was very aggressive and very intense one minute, then laughing the next. And it all seemed very sort of convoluted and a little bit, I felt a bit disconcerting, but I made that video about 10 or 15 minutes after I'd finished watching the interview. And I wanted to do that. I deliberately did that because I think first impressions, if you know, they can speak volumes. They can be very, very accurate. They can be the most accurate way of assessing something. But of course, first impressions, you know, you might look back and think, well, I missed that, you know, or no, actually, I didn't quite understand what was being said there. So it can be a double-edged sword. So I thought I'd do this follow-up, because I've watched the interview again. I watched it a second time. Got too much time on my hands, what can I say? And again, I found it very, very interesting. A lot of what AJ said did make more sense, but there was still a lot of things that were like alarm bells to me, personally. And the biggest one of all, having sort of watched the video a second time in a more sort of cold-blooded way, probably in a more attentive way, was the training setup. Because it's long been thought by a lot of people that Rob McCracken took AJ as far as he could take him, and that there should be some change in the head trainer. And I still think that's an argument I probably agree with. It's certainly an argument that can be put forward convincingly. But AJ didn't do that. He didn't allude to that. He talked about adding people to his team when his team, frankly, is already kind of bursting at the seams a bit, because he's got his little inner circle that he mentioned. And then at one point, Kugan mentioned, so, and then AJ said about his inner circle, and he said, "Oh yeah, but of course I've got my coaching team." Well, how many people have you got? What are these guys doing? Well, you know, nutrition, and you know, one's doing this and one's carrying a spit bucket, and it all seems at the moment to be very, very flabby and very sort of lazy. That's the wrong word, isn't it? Because I'm sure AJ isn't lazy, but it seems to me as if he's trying to have his cake and eat it with the training team. He's got his mates around him, they're close to him, loyalty is something he values, but there are just too many, you know the old expression, too many cooks spoil the broth. You've heard that expression, I'm sure. I get the feeling that's been going on for a long while, and it's too comfy, it's too comfortable. Now, as far as the head trainer goes, okay, AJ did his little tour of America, and he did his little, you know, trainer buffet thing where he'd sampled a bit of this and went there and had a look at that and did the, but he doesn't seem to know exactly what he wants. But for him to say, well, maybe I'll bring something else in, I think the opposite should be happening. I think he should be stripping it all back. Do you know what I mean? Like getting rid of all the flab, knocking that training team into shape. Shane McGuigan did a very good interview. I think, was it on Seconds Out? I can't remember where it was, but he said, look, that's what he needs to do. He needs to get rid of everyone, strip it all down back to the bare basics, so that everything is concentrated, so that nothing is diluted. And that seems to have escaped AJ's thought process. And I absolutely agree with Shane McGuigan, who I also rate as a very good trainer. Peter Fury, following the fight with Canelo and Billy Joe, and there was a bit of controversy about Ben Davison being in the corner and stealing a lot of, Mark Tibbs's thunder, and there was a disagreement and so on and so forth. When asked about that, Peter Fury said, look, there's one voice in that corner. There should be one voice in a corner, the head trainer. Everyone else shuts up and does what they're told. And I've always believed that that is the best way to run a boxing corner, by far. It's actually the best way to run anything in life. Don't have any fair weather friends. Quality, not quantity. Sometimes less is more. You understand? So I think this is, having rewatched the interview, that was the thing. The training issue was the thing that really sprang out and hit me the most. It hit me when I watched it initially, but I thought about it more, and I thought I'd do a little follow-up video on it. What are your opinions? I'm not someone who thinks AJ shouldn't take the Usyk rematch. I know a lot of people argue that he shouldn't take that. He should go away. And no, I made a video about this, which you can check it out on my channel, making the argument that if AJ was to fight Usyk again and do better than he did, even if he lost, it would be another 12 rounds against an elite champion. And he might actually learn long-term, learn more stuff. Because he's still quite a young man. He's young for a heavyweight. So I don't think he shouldn't take the rematch. And to be honest with you, I don't think he should get rid of Robin McCracken for the rematch either. He's only got 5 months. You can't really learn a great deal with a new head trainer in 5 months. You can learn things. I know what you're going to say. Tyson Fury got rid of Davison and got in Sugar Hill. Okay, I don't know what the backstory to that was. Maybe Fury had previous experience with Sugar Hill. But, Fury's mindset and AJ's mindsets are very, very different. Very different. Fury is able to handle all sorts of pressures, including out-of-the-ring pressures. We all know about his little daughter who was ill during the build-up to the third Wilder fight. And he seems to thrive on, I'm almost tempted to say he thrives on chaos, but he thrives on pressure. He likes that. When things are too comfortable, that's when he goes off the rails. That's when he has his mental health issues. With Joshua, I think it's got too comfortable. And I think adding more ingredients to the pot is just going to make it, in the end, it's going to be this sort of homogenized gloop, like a big soup. You don't know what it tastes like because it's got so many ingredients in it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the training situation. Something's got to change, hasn't it? Although, imagine if AJ took the rematch and beat Usyk. It's not out of the question, not entirely out of the question. But yeah, let me know what you think. As always, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day. You take care then. Bye-bye.